symbolize his internal attainments. He has 112. 80 minor, 32 major. So as a result of doing certain practices for aeons upon aeons upon aeons, then he has 112 superhuman marks that exemplify him to be a fully enlightened being, that are different than other beings. All right? For example, from gaining omniscience. Omniscience is knowing everything that is to be known in existence, not planet Earth. All dimensions, all galaxies, all universes, all of existence, anything to be known, a Buddha will understand. A Buddha will comprehend and at the Buddha's fingertips. So Buddha may be male or female at his fingertips. So that means when we ask something about our past, we have to think about it. It's not necessary. For a Buddha, you can have 100 persons in a room asking the Buddha simultaneously very different questions. Questions about the beginning of time, questions about human history, questions about the future. You can ask the Buddha, 100 persons can ask 100 questions simultaneously, and the Buddha can answer the question simultaneously to each person according to his language, according to his level, according to his understanding simultaneously. That is the power of his wisdom. So therefore, a Buddha's mind has full omniscience of past, present, and future, of all things to be known, all things to understand, all things to comprehend. The Buddha has that knowledge. For example, if you have a mole on your face, even the cause of that mole, what you created in a previous life to create that mole, he will know exactly. So a Buddha has that type of omniscience that's uncorrupted and unblocked. As a sign of that type of wisdom, when an enlightened being takes rebirth in our realm, in our human existence, in our human place, not necessarily other places, he has a Ushnisha. So this Ushnisha, a lot of artists draw wrongly. People think it's Buddha with long hair and he ties in a top knot. It's not that. Buddha is a monk, he has no hair. And Buddha has curly hair that twirls. So it's cut very short, like my hair, but instead of being straight, it's curled. Maybe like African people, when they cut their hair short, it has that little curliness. It may be something like that. And then on top, he has something bulbous here that sticks up. This is called Ushnisha, Tsuktor. This one is an extension of his head. It's an extension of his cranium. And this represents he has full omniscience. So maybe in another realm of existence, when he takes rebirth, he may not have that sign. It may represent something else somewhere else, but in this existence. Then for someone like Buddha, he has a very tall body. His hands are very long, and it reaches below. He has very long fingers, like a waterfall, and he has webbed fingers. Not webs, but webs of light. The webs of light are the causes of him never telling a lie. His body is golden in color. His eyes is bluish in color, and he has eyelashes that's described like a cow, very long and very lustrous. And then he has a center hair here that extends out, representing his great wisdom. He has perfectly formed features. He has very, very long ears. Not the ear itself, but the lobe itself that's very long, representing having heard the teachings of the previous Buddhas many, many times and put them into practice. His back is very straight, and his upper torso is that of a lion, very thick, very strong, very grand, and extremely V-shaped. So his upper torso is very strong like a lion, very powerful with no hair, with no obstructions, nothing. And then he has a very slim waist with rounded, soft hips. And his secret organ, the male secret organ, is covered in a web of light. So it's never used for whatever people in samsara use it for. and his legs are extremely, extremely long, and he has the Dharma chakra wheel, 1,000-spoke Dharma chakra wheel, both in his hands and his feet. And when he walks, his feet never touches the ground, but it still makes an imprint on the ground. And whatever imprint it makes on the ground, it has an imprint of 1,000-spoke Dharma chakra wheel. His voice has the 60 qualities of Brahma. It's described. So you can sit half a kilometer away. You can sit right in front of him. When he speaks, you will hear the tone of his voice perfectly, as if you were sitting in front of him. It will not be too loud where you have to cover your ears. It will not be too soft where you have to strain your ears. And he will speak in a language appropriate to your mind stream, appropriate to you, and at the level that you can understand. So when he speaks once, you will hear it in your language simultaneously. His voice is neither loud, nor is it rough, nor is it sharp, nor is it too low. It's a perfect tone where when you hear it, it's almost like a song. It's very, very, very pleasant. And he has these qualities of his body, speech, and mind, which equals to 112. And each of those qualities that he has was earned from doing practice. For example, it says, Kalpa Sum Sangye De. What is Kalpa Sum Sangye De? It means it took 3 kalpas for the Buddha to practice, for him to become a fully enlightened Buddha. He became a fully enlightened Buddha. So what is that? That is a kalpa. A kalpa is a short space of time, short. I'll give you an example. This is not an exact example. This is a simple example because everything is in Indian measurements. But this is similar, okay? Let's say you dig a hole in the ground. I always use this example. Let's say you dig a hole in the ground. It is 1 kilometer long, 1 mile long, 1 mile wide, 1 mile deep. 1, 1, 1. You fill that hole with 1 inch of human hair. And it's filled. Every 100 years, every 100 years, every 100 years, you open the hole and you take the hair out. The time for you to take out all the hair and it's empty, is 1 kalpa. Everybody understand that? I repeat. 1 mile hole, 1 mile wide, 1 mile deep. You fill that with 1 inch of human hair. So let's take his hair 1 inch, fill it. I don't know how many, it's be millions inside, right? So every 100 years, you open the hole, you take 1 hair out. Then you cover it. Then you wait another 100 years, you take another hair out. Then you wait another 100 years, you take the hair out. When that whole thing is empty, that's 1 kalpa. Got it? 60 of those is 1 great kalpa. 60 of those is 1 great kalpa. Kalpa sum sangye de. So that's what it says in Pachin. Takes 3 of those great kalpas to become fully enlightened. Okay, so Buddha practiced meditation, purification, collection of merit, collection of wisdom, and so on for 3 great kalpas to become fully enlightened. What do you guys think?
Very, very long time.
It's long for you, but it's not long in the scheme of things because there is no time. According to physics, there's no time. There's no beginning or end. Time is our construction. There is no time according to scientific physics. So for you, for me, it's long, but it's not long. It's like this. Now, so whenever the Buddha speaks, he has 60 qualities of his speech. I mentioned melodious voice, always telling the truth. Whatever he says brings benefit to others. It's soothing to others. It's heard in whatever language you like. It's heard at your level. It's heard at your understanding. And you can hear it far and near in any language. So to gain those 60 qualities of Lord Buddha's speech, he practiced with 3 kalpas of not lying, not saying things that are schismatic, not saying things that hurt and damage, and not using vulgar intended language. He practiced with 3 great kalpas. You guys understand? Can you imagine? Imagine yourselves. Who has not lied in their life? Raise your hand. You see my hand going up? Nope. Who has not lied? I mean, who has not lied in this life? Raise your hand. Nobody, right? Who has lied in this life? Raise your hand. Even white lie God. You lied up. Break your blue glasses and give to him. So, you lied up. You don't look like a possum, relax. Now, imagine not lying for your whole life, never saying one untruth. A person who doesn't lie, how does it feel to be around that person? Does it feel good? Kenneth, do you trust that person?
Theoretically, yes.
Everything's theoretic in your case. Everything will be theoretic in your case. So when you hang around a person who doesn't lie, does it feel good?
Yes.
Can you trust them? Whatever they say, do you need to confirm? Do you need to have doubt? Does it worry you? Is it hard to live with them? Is it hard to believe what they say? It's actually quite pleasant to live with someone that doesn't lie. In fact, your guards never go up. Your fear doesn't go up. Why? Because they don't lie. So even if they tell you something fantastic, I saw a winged man outside. So okay, I believe you. I mean, because they never lie. You understand? So you feel very good. So how does it feel to live with a person who never lied in their life? How does it feel to live with a person who never says anything with their mouth that is intended to hurt another person? How does it feel to live with someone like that? Yeah, theoretically. How does it feel to live with someone? Don't you laugh at him because he's skinny and you're jealous. How does it feel to live with someone that whatever the person, this woman says, is always to benefit you. It's always to help you. It's always with your best interest at heart. That they never talk about for themselves to get something. It's to benefit you. How does it feel to live with this woman? How does it feel? How does it feel to live with this kind of man? Right? Very nice. And I have met people in my lives, like my gurus, who never lie. Who always speaks perfect speech. Who always says things to help others. Kenso Jambayishi, Kachalatirumchi, Kachasaranchi, Geshiturum Gelson, Kenso Losantachirumchi. I have lived and met and been with people like that, who their speech is only to help you. For me, it felt very good. It felt very, 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 very good. Because you know what? Whatever Geshiturum Gelson tells me, whatever Kenso Losantachin tells me, whatever Kenso Jambayishi tells me, whatever Kenso Kajalatirimchi tells me, whatever Kajasondoji tells me, I don't think I register and I put it in my mind and I say, oh, how can I use that? And whatever they say, I don't think, are they trying to get something from me? Because they never try to get anything from me. Do I need to think they have an ulterior motive? No, they're a monk. They've been living pure their whole life. That's what the sangha is about. That's why you become a sangha, to train yourself. Okay? So, it feels so good to be around people like that, and I've lived around people like that in the last 30, 35 years. And I'm just as sneaky as you. I lived with them in the first few years. I observe and watch them. Yes, I watch them. I'm the suspicious type. I watch and I confirm. But after a few years, I stop watching already. There's nothing to watch. There's nothing to catch. So I have lived around people who uses their speech to only benefit others. And therefore, some of my gurus. And therefore, I always prostrate to my gurus. Now, How does it feel to be around a person who doesn't kill? Who had no intention to kill? Who doesn't wish to kill? Who uses their body to save lives, to feed animals, to feed the homeless, to feed the poor, to take care of people who are sick. They use their body to get supplies and necessaries to help others, as opposed to take things. How does it feel to be around a person who never steals? How does a person who never kills, has no intention to kill, only uses their body, their fingers, their physical body to help? How does it feel to be around a person who never steals, never takes one single item that doesn't belong to them? How does it feel to be around a person who commits no sexual misconduct? They don't try to sleep with 100,000 women. They don't try to sleep with 100,000 men. They don't contract any diseases. Their focus in life is not to have boogaloo. That's my way of saying sex. Their intention is not that sex is bad, but their intention is not that. And they don't rape anyone. They don't force anything on anyone. They don't use their bodies to hurt anyone through sex, prostitution, all that stuff. They don't encourage people to hurt their body. How does it feel to be around a person whose body is never, ever used to harm themselves and harm other people? It feels very safe. It feels very safe to be around a person whose speech is free of errors, their body is free of errors. How does it feel to be around a person whose mind is focused on the dharma? What's dharma? I'm not talking about Buddhism. I'm talking about dharma, the correct way of life. Right livelihood, right speech, right attitude, patience, effort, asceticism, discipline. How does it feel? How does it feel that if I tell Cindy blah, 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 and Cindy says, I promise I'll do this, and she does it. And then the next time I said, Cindy, can you do this? And she says, yes, I will, and she does it. And after a year or 2 years of working with Cindy, every time I ask her to do anything, or anytime she promises to do anything, I know she's going to do it. And I don't have to chase her. I don't have to push her. I don't have to keep begging her. I don't have to instill people to check on her. I don't have to have fines, punishments, shout, scream, and fire her, or put some kind of scorecard on her. Who wants to live with people like that? You have to put a scorecard on them. How does it feel to live with people who always promise and they don't fulfill? Because their laziness, their ego, their mind, their false thinking and projections is stronger than their promise to you. So let's say that Cindy says, oh, guess what? I couldn't finish that. Immediately I'll say, oh, wow, what happened? How can I help you? Because you automatically assume it's beyond her capability, because she has a track record of always finishing what she wants to finish. So how does it feel to be around a person with that kind of mind? Doesn't it feel good? Their mind doesn't want to get something from you. They don't want to use you. They don't want to take something from you. They don't want to abuse you. They don't want to hurt you. That whatever is in their mind, if it doesn't help you, it definitely does not harm you. And they're not vegetables. They're not dumb. They're not just sitting like, duh. You know, they really are abiding and calm abiding. To be around someone whose mind is not about trying to get money, trying to get sex, trying to get away, trying to get something in this world, trying to get something from themselves, trying to get something from you, trying to use you, trying to hurt you, trying to plot, trying to do all kinds of things. But their mind is abiding and calm abiding. And they have compassion. And they have care. And they have genuine concern. And they really, you feel totally safe. So think you're around that type of person who has that kind of mind, and you're around that kind of person that has that kind of body and that kind of speech. Now, if you look at carnivorous animals, like snakes, that eat other animals, how are their eyes? How are their body? How is their action? It scares you. It's slippery. It's dark. It's fangy. It's poisonous. The eyes are sharp and scary and sneaky and quick. Because that's from years and years and years of having to harm others. So it shows on their body. It shows on a snake. You look at a little bunny rabbit. They eat grass or carrots or whatever. If you look at their body is fluffy, warm. You want to touch them, you want to hug and kiss them. Their eyes are warm, they're innocent, they're nibbly. Because their energy is not to harm you. So how you think will reflect on your body. How people move, how people look, how people act is a reflection of what's in their mind. Sneaky people who always lie, sneaky people who always are selfish, sneaky people who are always failures because they choose themselves over everybody else. They always have a sneaky look to them. They're always alert, they're always aware. Because they're thinking how to use you. So my point is not to criticize people. My point is how you think will definitely reflect in your body. How you think will reflect in your expression, your eyes, your face. If you watch butchers that kill, if you go talk to them, their eyes are cold and no life, no more feelings. No feelings that are cold. Almost like nobody is inside. They have to become that to kill every day. So what am I telling you? It's very simple. What is a blessing? Think. For 80 years that we're alive, we control our body, our speech, and our mind. Our mind does not harm, does not intend to harm, does not have hatred, does not use people, does not have ill motivation. And we practice ourselves to reach that level. Think that for 80 years of our lives, our speech is not used for anything but positive. Our speech is always pleasant. Even when our speech is loud and fierce, it is to benefit, it is not to harm. Even when our speech, because there are some people who's very ill-minded, even when their speech is soft and sweet, it is to create schism and harm. It's not the tone of the speech. Think that our speech is always used to bring refuge and help and assistance to other people. Think that your speech is used that for 80 years. Same with your body. So for 80 years, your body, your speech, and your mind is used to benefit others and not bring any harm wherever you go. Just think about the energy you collect. Think someone like that. On top of that, does meditation. And they go deeper and deeper and deeper into themselves. And they can see their previous lives. They can see the lives of other people's previous life. They can see karma and its effects. They can see how things work in the universe karmically. They can see how things work around them and within themselves. And they can see this very, very clearly. And they don't take refuge in a God. They don't take refuge in something on the outside. They don't rely on some miracles. They rely on their own mind. Just think of being around a person like that. And then this person dies, and their next life they do the same thing. The next life they're a man. This life they're a woman. Next life they're a man. They do that. Next life they're a woman. Next life they're a man. Next life they're a woman. And they do that for one small kalpa. And just think this person, because he's so good at doing it, she is so good at doing it for one kalpa, they can do it for 2, 3, 4, 5. And they achieve 60 kalpas. And then this person achieves that for one great kalpa. And then they achieve that for 3 great kalpas. And then finally, they become a fully enlightened Buddha. Every pore of their body is beneficial to us. Every fiber of their being, even the thought of them benefits us. Just think of someone like that. That is a Buddha. That is a fully enlightened Buddha. The great Shakyamuni. Who to see, to hear, to think, to ponder, brings waves of merit. So every time you prostrate to Buddha Shakyamuni, you're prostrating to 3 great kalpas of body, speech, and mind generation of compassion and no harm. When you offer a cup of water to the Buddha, you're offering a cup of water to a person who has practiced compassion, bodhicitta, love, no harm, wisdom, pure speech, pure body action, pure mind action, for 3 great kalpas. When you offer some flowers, when you offer some incense to this kind of being. And then you go the next step. And you meditate on this being. Then the next step, you take vows from this being. You take the vows this person took to become who they are. You take vows, the vows of refuge, Gyamdro Kitongba. You take the vows of bodhicitta, Janju Senbei Kitongba. You take the vows of tantra, Nga Kitongba, Nga Dong. You take the vows of Hinayana, which is Gitsu or novice monk, and then you take Gelong, Hinayana Gelong, which is the advanced vows of a monk, bhikshu. And if you take it with the motivation of bodhicitta to benefit all sentient beings, it becomes a Mahayana practice of taking the vows. And then imagine if you meditate on this person, you serve this person, and you make offerings to this person, and then you have the fortune to receive teachings from this person. And then you have the fortune to receive mantras, meditations, practices on this person. So every day you can visualize this person who is 3 great kalpas of wisdom, compassion, love, free from samsara completely. Teata Om Muni Muni Ma Muni Shakyamuni So Teata 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 Om Muni Muni Ma Muni Shakyamuni So Teata Muni Muni Ma Muni Shakyamuni So Teata Muni Muni Ma Muni Shakyamuni So. And what do you visualize? You can visualize an array of things. You can visualize lights coming from this person and entering the crown of your head and purifying your anger. So whatever you have anger about, whatever hurt you, whatever has damaged you, whatever has made you very insecure and unhappy is purified and is pushed out by the power of mantra, trust, and blessings. Then you can visualize this person blessing your speech. You can visualize this person blessing your body and your mind. So you visualize white, red, blue lights coming from this person. So white lights coming from his body to us, purifying our body. So all the negative things we did with our body, smoking cigarettes, doing drugs, raping, killing, stealing, hitting, hurting, all the negative things that we've done that we wasted our time. It's negative because it's a waste of time. It's negative because it could have hurt someone. Drugs and cigarettes and all that is not negative inherently. It's the result that's negative. So you say, well, I've never killed anyone this life, but you've had hundreds and thousands of lives you have. If you haven't killed anyone, you haven't hurt anyone, this life you would never be sick. Being sick is the result of hurting other people's body. So sometimes you can see the result to understand the cause. You don't always need to know the cause. So you can visualize the white lights coming from Buddha Shakyamuni coming to you, and while you recite his mantra, what's the point of the mantra? To keep the mind focused on the sound, so your mind doesn't wander. The mantra itself has power, but it's more power if you use it to focus your mind, to purge your mind, to make it focus. You know all the bad habits we have? The key to eliminating the bad habits is to focus our mind on sound, and from sound, our mind graduates to exploring ourselves deeper. We will have the discipline to explore ourselves deeper and to expunge or destroy the negative qualities in our mind. Only we can destroy it. A Buddha can, a God can. So what happens is, then we visualize red lights coming from the Buddha speech, from his throat to our throat, purifying all the negative speech we have committed in our lives, all the lies, all the talk, all the deception that we have said to everybody around us, our whole lives, to to protect ourselves. It's purified. And then we plant the seeds of Buddha's speech. And then we visualize blue lights coming from his heart to our heart, because our mind abides in the heart, which I'll talk about another day. And then it purifies the negativities of our mind. And when we purify the body, speech, and mind negativities, it isn't to put ourselves down. It isn't to say we're not worthy, we're bad, we're negative. It is to say that that is the truth. We have good and bad, all of us. So we're expunging the negative. And then we bless it with the Buddha's body blessings. So while we're reciting this mantra, this is what we're thinking. This is what we're thinking. The meditation session can be 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hour, 3 year, 3 month, 3 days. Up to you. The mantra can be based on Buddha Shakyamuni, can be based on Lama Tsongkhapa, maybe it's a vegetation Chinese, dream making my own Bochambayan, Dupo My Jones is somewhere down, Ganjing gave a teaching Tsongkhapa, Bosan Trabi Shabba Sound Depth, to invoke upon the energy of Lama Tsongkhapa to do the same. It could be based on Chinese, Avalokiteshvara, Omani Peme Home, Omani Pemo, on Jasin Jabaya Manjushri, Omarabasnadi. It can be based on Vajapani, Om Vesapani Home. It can be based on the higher tantras. For example, Vajragini, Hiruka, Yamataka, Kalachakra, Uya Samacha, Hevajra. It could be based on the lower tantras, such as Hayagriva, anything. So what's important is that now, let's go back to Shakyamuni. When we go back to Shakyamuni, Shakyamuni in our age is someone who is not the only Buddha, but is a Buddha that has appeared to us that we recognize, that we have a karmic connection to. So what happens is this person for 3 great kalpas have eliminated all the negativities of his body, speech, and mind, and gained complete wisdom, gained complete compassion. By the way, that's irreversible. Irreversible. Why is it irreversible? For the causes for it to reverse is gone. All anger is gone. All selfish traits are gone. All wish to win over others, to use others, are gone. So there's no causes for it to reverse. It's gone. Okay? So when such an enlightened being becomes an enlightened being, when such a being becomes an enlightened being, he or she is your savior. Inverted commas. He or she is not your savior because you keep their statue, because you wear their pendant, because you subscribe to their religion, or you convert to their religion. They are not your savior because you keep their books and pictures and tankas, because you offer incense to them, because you prostrate to them. They don't, Buddha Shakyamuni is your savior, but doesn't become your savior by just being separate from you. Buddha Shakyamuni becomes your savior when you learn the method of how this being became a Buddha and incorporate it into yourself and practice to become like him. That's how you save yourself. Okay? If we can accept a holy being and become saved, everybody on this planet should be saved. None of the Christians are saved. None of the Hindus are saved. None of the Buddhists are saved. None of the Jews. Nobody's saved. You see horrible Buddhists and you see wonderful Buddhists. You see horrible Christians, scary Christians, and wonderful Christians like Mother Teresa. So that shows you by accepting a holy being, nobody's saved. So how are you saved? You're saved by accepting the method of the holy being, and then you practice it and you transform. In this case, not the only method, in this case, the Buddha. So the Buddha tells you don't lie, you don't lie. And you practice don't lie. If the Buddha teaches you that if you promise someone something, integrity, that's right livelihood. If you promise someone to do something, you do it. If you don't do it, what will happen? People won't like you. You will not be integrated. You will be excluded. You will be alone. People will lose respect. You'll become angry. You'll become lonely. You'll go off on your own. That's what you did. So you can keep a big Buddha, a statue of the Buddha there, pray every day. But if you're always not keeping your promises to people, it's not going to make a difference. You don't save yourself. You don't save anyone. So what's important is that when you have a Buddha, and if you prostrate to the Buddha, if you make an offering to the Buddha, if you're making incense, reciting the mantra, meditating, when you duplicate the Buddha, when you make tankas or statues of him, set up an altar of the Buddha, you are commemorating, celebrating, and connecting with two things. One is a being who has become an enlightened being who can save you. The second thing you're doing is you're connecting to the potential that you will become that Buddha. Because why? The more you cultivate yourself towards the Buddha, the more you develop the qualities that became that Buddha. So you will transform. I repeat, when you set up something to the Buddha like that, and you take refuge and you trust and you believe, then your mind will start changing. Changing from what? From our mind, lack of wisdom, wrong views, projections, fears, anger, to the ways of wisdom, compassion, forgiveness, letting go, impermanence, karma. So you start seeing your mind transform to become that person. It's very common if you look at teenagers, whatever they hang in their room, they become more and more like their heroes. So if they hang people who are violent, dark, negative, they start worshiping that. They start liking that. So if you hang a Buddha in your room, you have to become more like a Buddha. So it has a very powerful impact. Not only that, the Buddha is not an ordinary being like us. The Buddha is not an ordinary being like us. Because the Buddha is not an ordinary being like us, whatever interaction we have with each other has karma. If I give a gift to Cindy, and I give it with good intention, it has very good karma. If I give a gift to Cindy, it has bad intention, it has some good karma and some negative karma. It's mixed because of the mixed intention. Why is there some positive karma although the intention is not good? Because she feels happy initially, so that generates some kind of positive karma. It's always mixed. Okay? So, that's karma with an ordinary person. I'm ordinary, she's ordinary. So we're interacting on an ordinary level. So even on an ordinary level with ordinary people, kamsa, normal people, you have karma that arises from interaction. Karma arises from interaction. Talking, thinking, touching. If I touch your hand, I say, oh, you're a good person. There's karma. If I touch your hand, I hit her, there's negative karma. If I touch your hand, there's nothing. I just look at her, nothing. Neutral. So that's just the ordinary person. So with anything, there's karma. Even with animals. So if you look at an animal and pet them, and make them feel safe, and make them feel happy, and make them feel free from suffering, you collect good karma. If you chop them up and eat them or fry them, and make them nepali momos, it's negative karma. Yes, it's negative karma. Eating meat is negative karma, full stop. There's no A, B, C, D. It's negative. Because how you eat the meat, you must kill. Whether your friend kills, the butcher kills, the supermarket kills, somebody's got to kill. You buy, they kill, you get the karma. So eating meat is negative karma, full stop. I don't want to hear what all the weird Buddhists say. I'm weird, but not that weird. I don't want to hear what all the people say. You eat meat, it's negative karma, full stop. There's no way about it. And I can debate with people to prove to them it's negative karma. After I debate, they'll be quiet. Yes, because I'm not making this up. Whether you look at the Hinayana scriptures, the Pali scriptures, it will tell you clearly it's harmful. It's harmful to the animal, it's harmful to yourself. So if I'm nice to the animal, good karma. Chop them up, make them nepali momo, it's bad karma. Right? That's one. So, any interaction with animals, spirits. Malaysians are afraid of spirits. You say ghost, you say spirit, they jump. You just say gui, they jump. They're very scared of spirits. 9 out of 10 Malaysians are very, very scared of spirits. 9 out of 10. And that's because they don't understand the nature of spirit. I don't need anything. They don't understand the nature of spirits. So they're afraid. Anything we don't understand, we usually have confusion. Now, if we do all kinds of rituals, and we capture the spirit and make them be our slaves, we become a famous Bomo Cindy. And we get the spirits to steal things from Mingwan. We get the spirits to steal, lose food so he loses weight. We get the spirit to go slap Antoinette because she forgot her assignment again. That's negative karma. We're creating negative karma, and we're creating more anger in the spirit. If we do rituals to expel the spirit, to hurt them, to scare them, it's negative karma. Negative karma is harming any living being. So Buddhism doesn't subscribe to that. None. I have people in the past ask me, how can I get rid of my enemy? Can you teach me a mantra? I said, Buddha never taught such a mantra, so I don't know. Buddha never taught a mantra to harm people. So I said, I'm sorry, I don't have any mantras to harm anyone. If some Buddhists say they have mantras or they have rituals to harm people, it's not Buddhism, it's mixed with something else. Buddhism has nothing to harm, nothing. Buddha doesn't harm. If Buddha harms, he's not a Buddha, he's us. So we take him off the statues, we take him off the altar, we don't need to pray to Buddha. Why do we want to pray to ourselves? I mean, why would Cindy put me on the altar? I'm not a Buddha. Why would I put Cindy on the altar? We're the same. Very simple, same. So, now, if we have karma that arises, so if I give her things, and I give her food, and I tell her nice things, and I nurture her mind, and I help her mind to become more confident, grow, and think wider and bigger, you know what happens? She will suffer less. She will have better relations with everyone. She will find peace. She will let go of pain. She will let go of harm. And then she becomes an even more beautiful person. Because why? She's let go of all that. And that's the same for everyone. So if I have that kind of relationship with her, of course, by doing that for a normal person, from a normal person to a normal person, when I do that, in this life and future lives, I will have a calm mind. I will always be born in places where it's calm, free from wars, free from diseases, free from dirty environments, free from danger, because I created that for her. You understand? So if I'm always trying to get her, harm her, get something from her, and steal something from her, trick her, I will be born in places that are dirty, war-torn. I will be born in places full of diseases and plagues. And wherever we go, it's always dirty. The water's polluted, the environment's polluted, because I create that kind of environment for her. And that's just on a normal level, okay? On a normal level, if we do things to other sentient beings, animals, spirits, humans, do we collect karma? Good, bad, and neutral karma. Correct.
Yes.
So, is it logical to think if we do something with the Buddha, we also collect karma? Of course. Of course. You see, whether that person feels the result of your intention or not is not the point. It's your intention that creates the karma. So if I slap Cindy, right? If I slap Cindy because she fainted to wake her up, that's beneficial. If I slap her because I'm unhappy with her, that doesn't benefit her. But a slap is a slap, but it's my intention. So let's say she fainted, and I said, oh, yo, I gotta wake her up. Wake up, we gotta go, come on. There's some animals coming, we're in the forest, right? I slap her and wake up. I slap her to help her, to wake her up. Say, wake up, come on, let's go. I want to save her life. And it saves her life. Is that good or bad? Very good. Let's say she's my roommate. And there's a cake she ate. I slap her while you eat the cake. It's mine. Slap her again because she answered back to me. Is that good or bad?
Bad.
But it's a slap. So the intention is important. Kulum. So similarly, if we offer water to the Buddha, may Cindy drop dead. I really hate her, she stole my blue glasses. May she drop dead. And I offer Buddha water every day. Is that good or bad karma? pervasively bad, a little bit of good, because the Buddha cannot generate negative results. Anything with the Buddha will bring good results. Anything. Hold on to that thought. I'll explain more later about that. Even if you do something bad to the Buddha, something good will come later. I'll explain why later. Remind me, huh? So, my intention to offer the glass of water to Buddha every day is to generate the energy and karma for what? For her. Negative karma. And the karma is even more stronger because you're generating to a being who is very attained. Karma is dependent on, listen carefully, karma is dependent on action, motivation, and object. Kulung, right? Your motivation, the action, and then the object, you. All right, so if I lie to Cindy, if I steal from Cindy, is it worse than if I steal from a homeless person that has just $1 left? What's worse? Of course, because they'll suffer even more than her. But do I collect negative karma from stealing from her? Yes. Of course I do. But because she won't starve, the karma is negative. If I steal from a homeless person, it's even worse. If I steal from a very sick person, a very old person, if I steal from the temple, it's even worse. Why? Because object, action, and motivation. Everybody got that? Everybody understand? So therefore, if the object is an enlightened being, Lord Buddha, Lama Tsongkhapa, Jason Tara, Manjushri, Vajrapani, Chenesik, if the object is an enlightened being, Doji Shukden, Mahakala, Kalarupa, Vaishavana, Tenden Hamo, if the object is an enlightened being, also the action is multiplied. So if I prostrate to Cindy, depends on my motivation, it's pretty much neutral. If I prostrate to Buddha Shakyamuni, it will be a tremendous amount of merit dependent on my motivation. If Cindy prostrates to me, depending on her motivation, maybe it's just neutral, nothing much. Maybe just exercise, stretch your body. If Cindy prostrates to Lord Buddha, she will be exercised, also she collects merit. Why? In this case, what is the main effect? Object. All right? Now, every time you prostrate to a Buddha, every time you make offerings to a Buddha, every time you meditate on the Buddha, every time you chant the Buddha name, every time you make flower offerings, incense, water, light, every time you circumambulate around the Buddha, every time, a few things happens. One is you start to bring out the Buddha in you because you're taking time away from I to Buddha. Most of the time we're sitting there, me, I, me, what I want to eat, what I want to do, how I want to get money, how I get to get work, how am I going to get family, how do I get a wife, how do I get sex, how do I get a drink, how do I get some drugs, how do I get some fun, how do I get some sleep, how do I get some clothes, how do I travel, how do I have some fun, me, I, it's like a song, a bad song. Then when you focus on a Buddha, from the I, you go to Buddha. So the more you go out from your I, the higher your mind will become. The more you focus on the I, the more static your mind will become. That's one. Second, remember Buddha practiced body, speech, and mind asceticism for how many kalpas? Was it great kalpas or was it small kalpas? Correct. One great kalpa contains how many smaller kalpas?
16.
Correct. So can you imagine that you're prostrating to someone who has kept his body pure for 3 great kalpas? Do you imagine the impact it has on your body? Can you imagine you offer incense to a person who has freedom of speech, no negative speech for 3 kalpas? Can you imagine what you're doing for your speech and the karma you're collecting for your speech? Okay? Now, that is why Buddhists make Buddha statues. That is why we create Buddha statues, big ones, and we decorate it. We're not worshiping the statue. We're worshiping what the statue represents. Ignorant colonial people in the past, or missionary people in the past, put down Hinduism, Taoism, Buddhism. They dare criticize when they have not studied it, and say we're praying to idols. That's very negative. They're praying to idols. We're not praying to idols, and if we are, that's our right. I mean, I'm not going to go to hell. Why do I go to hell by praying to idol? Because you said so. Oh, but it's in their book, their Bible. Who wrote your Bible? I have no idea. So what am I trying to say? I'm not here to criticize anyone. Buddhists are not perfect either. So what am I trying to say here? What I'm trying to say is this, is we're not praying to the statues. We are praying to what the statue represents because we don't have the perfection of meditation to visualize a Buddha. So a statue is to help us focus on a Buddha. Can you imagine getting your 80-year-old grandmother sit down, let me teach you about refuge, and you tell her to meditate on Buddha? She's like, she can't even stay awake. She's old, she's sick, she's not well. So a statue here, Mama, Grandmama, please focus on Buddha. Oh, okay, like that. That's the purpose. So because the Buddha's body has such great benefits, we make as many statues as we can. We sponsor statues. We promote statues. We make it as big as we can. And because the statues are very holy and blessed because of 3 kalpas of practice, we offer gold on them. What's the most precious substance on this earth that's pretty much believed by everyone to be the most precious? What's the most precious? Gold. All right? So if you have gold, you're rich. So if you take a little bit gold out, you open your hand because you're stingy, and you take a little bit gold out, and you offer on the Buddha, you lessen your stinginess immediately. And you collect the merit to achieve the achievements Buddha has achieved. That's why people offer gold on the Buddha. That's why people offer jewelry on the Buddha. That's why people offer ornaments on the Buddha. People are not offering ornaments on the Buddha because he's going to some party. He's going to some rave party. He has to look good. People are not offering ornaments on a Buddha because he's ugly and he needs makeup. You understand what I mean? People are offering it on the Buddha because you're offering precious items that you're attached to the Buddha to gain the very qualities he has. So does that mean if you're poor, and you offer a piece of wood to the Buddha or some leaves and grass, it has no effect? It has the same effect as offering the gold. Because in this case, it's not the object alone, it is your motivation. If you offer gold to the Buddha with the intention to be filthy rich so you can get beautiful girls and a yacht and go party and have a great time, then it's the same as offering grass to the Buddha. If you offer grass visualizing its goal, that you may gain great compassion and be a healer and a beneficial person to sentient beings in the future, then it's the same as offering gold to the Buddha. You guys understand? During the Buddha's time, there was a young Brahmin boy who came up. And he was very young, he was small. And he came up to the Buddha and he offered a handful of sand into the bowl of the Buddha. The Buddha has a begging bowl. Whatever you want to offer, you put in the bowl. So he made a good motivation and he offered sand in the Buddha's begging bowl and prayed. And he visualized that sand is gold because he doesn't have gold. And the Buddha immediately predicted, put his hands on the boy's head. In the future, 1,000 years after my death, in the land of the north, when my teachings are degenerated and it's being proliferated wrongly and taught wrongly, you will revive it. This boy was later born as Lama Tsongkhapa. It's predicted already his coming. This is by offering gold to the Buddha, which was sand. All right? So that's why we make extensive offerings to the Buddha, the best we can from our heart. So in our lifetime, we try to offer minimum 100,000 water offerings, 100,000 prostrations, 100,000 mandalas, 100,000 vajrasattva's, 100,000 guru yogas, 100,000 of making tsatsas, Buddha's images. We try to do that as much as possible. That's why I have people here. We make offerings to the Buddha extensively every single day. Which Buddha? It doesn't matter, because you have Vajrayana, you have Shakyamuni, you have Tara, you have Manjushri. Outside, one is a lady, one's a man, one's sitting, one's standing, one's fierce, one's black, one's white, one's purple, one has many arms. Inside, the nature is the same. I'll give you an example. This is what kind of container? Color? What's inside?
Water.
What kind of container? What's inside?
Water.
Are they different?
Yes.
Yeah, they're different. Which water came from here? Which water came from here? Becomes one. That's the nature of the Buddhas. So outside the Buddhas look different. Inside the nature is one. So if you make 100,000 offerings of Vajrayana, it's still a Buddha. It's up to you. Which one you make it to is your guru assigns a deity to you. It's called a yidam. Or you have a particular affinity. You pick something that you like, as long as it's the Buddha. If you think something is a Buddha and it's not a Buddha, it still collects merit. For example, if someone gives you a statue of a demon, you have no idea what it is. I give a statue of a demon, all right, to Nicholas. And I said, oh, it's Manjushri. He said, oh, thank you so much. Thank you. And they put on his altar every day. He makes offerings to the demon. He makes offerings to, he doesn't think it's a demon. He thinks it's a Buddha. And he makes offerings, water, flowers, incense, food. He prostrates, he meditates every day. He will gain a lot of merit. Then someone else comes in, wow, it's a hantu, you know? He said, is it? They said, no, my guru says it's not a hantu, it's a Buddha. Who has more power, a Buddha or a hantu?
Buddha.
Okay, so if you think it's Manjushri, who has more power, Manjushri or hantu?
Manjushri.
Right. So therefore, if you think it is Manjushri, Manjushri will enter this hantu statue, and it'll be Manjushri, and you're praying to Manjushri, the hantu is gone. Manjushri doesn't share his apartment with other people. So, although outwardly, because are you praying to the statue? Correct. Who are you praying to? Manjushri visualizing the statue. That's why sometimes people say, oh, Dorji Shukden is a demon. I say, okay. I used to tell people, it's okay if he's a demon. Why is it okay? Because Kechara Forest Retreat and Kensei Jessen Jamba Yeshi Rinpoche told me they're Manjushri. And Genima told me he's a Buddha. Kechara Forest Retreat said he's Manjushri. Geshe Tsurim Gyaltsen said he's Manjushri. And my own scriptural teacher, Pechak again, Kensei Jamba Yeshi, said it's Manjushri. I asked Kensei Jamba Yeshi once, what is he? What is the Shuden? He's Jessen Jamba Yang. They said, now get out, because he was busy. He chased me out after I asked him the question. Because he knows I have 100 questions. He said it's Manjushri. Kensei said it. That's all. I don't care what Dharamsala says. I don't care what other people says. I don't care what other people say he is. I don't care. Because what they believe is up to them. What I believe is up to me. My guru says Manjushri. Why would Kensei lie to me? Why would Sarangi lie to me? Right? And even if they lie, what the bottom line is what? What did I believe the Dorji Shukden statue is? Correct. So if Dorji Shukden is a demon, and I visualize Dorji Shukden statue as Manjushri, who can stay inside the statue?
Manjushri.
So bye-bye demon. So still I don't lose. You understand? It's what you believe. It's what you believe. 300-400 years ago in China, I'd be a treasure. Wow, so prosperous. Now I'm a walking health disaster. Me and Lu are twins. It's just what you believe, depending on time. Right? 400 years ago, they look at Ken and said, Ma, it's time to feed him, man. Force feed him. Now they look at it, oh, put a little weight, you're fine. It's time. So that's how I tell people, it doesn't matter if it's a demon or a spirit, it's what I believe and what I believe my guru tells me. Is that very logical? Okay, so let's go back to Buddha Shakyamuni. Let's say that we worship Buddha Shakyamuni, we pray, we do that. Every time we make offerings to Buddha Shakyamuni, we see Shakyamuni, we bow. We collect the body, we collect the merit of body. Every time we see Shakyamuni and we say, I take refuge in Buddha, we collect the merit of the speech. Every time I see Buddha Shakyamuni, I think, may I become just like you, compassionate, forgiving, kind, and have the ability to benefit others tremendously. I collect the merit of the mind. So I plant seeds, bakcha, body, speech, and mind. And I do that every day. So this bakcha or this merit increases. You guys understand? It increases. So that is why it's very good to put stupas outside, put statues outside. Why? Animals will walk near it. Animals will see it, they'll be blessed to plant seeds. Based on what? The animal or the object? Correct. That's why the statue is as big as possible. It's even better because more people see it. That's why Buddhists clamor to sponsor holy items. That's the reason. Now do you guys understand a little bit why we keep altars? Then an altar should be a Buddha, the dharma, and the sangha. The dharma can be any dharma text or represent. On my altar, I don't put a dharma text because it doesn't look aesthetically beautiful. I like aesthetics. So I keep a little, we make it at vajrasecrets.com, the best website in the world. They have the little Vajra speech thingy with a lot of mantras. Yeah. What's it called?
Buddha speech.
Yes, Buddha speech. You get it from Vajra, VAJRASECRETS.com. It's the best Dharma website in the world. The best. You click on it, it's already a blessing. Okay, I take that back, that's too much. And then you put the Dharma, the representative Buddha's speech. Then you put the mind of Buddha's stupa. So on your altar, you should have body, speech, and mind. Sometimes you can put the whole thing inside the statue also. It's okay, you can just have a statue if you like simple. So why every time you make offerings, incense, you're collecting the merits of body, speech, and mind of Buddha to attain their body, speech, and mind. Does everybody understand? Now every time you do that, you plant seeds. And let's say you die. The next life you do it, let's say you die. And then the next life after that, you don't need the Dharma, and you're doing something else. Maybe you're in Nepal, you're a translator, and you wear glasses. And then the next life after that, you don't need the Dharma. Let's say 8, 10, 12 lives later, you're born in a place, for example, maybe where there are beautiful, holy nuns. Nuns who meditate, nuns who practice, like this nun you read about, Zina Rachevsky. And you go up to the nun, and you offer some water to the nun. Maybe you sponsor the nun. Every month, I'm going to give you $50 US. Whatever practice you do, may I claim some merit because I'm supporting a nun. Maybe you give food to the nun. Maybe you provide the nun with robes. Maybe you provide the nun with Dharma text. Or maybe you build a house for the nun. Depends on your finances and your connection. Maybe you say, I pay for electricity for the nun every month. Maybe you say, oh, I'm going to make sure this nun, I'm going to cook for the nun. Oh, even better, I'm going to give up my worldly life, I'm going to go serve the nun. Whatever you like. Okay? That's why in Tibet people serve lamas, they're gurus, for that reason. Now let's say that when you go and meet the nun, maybe the nun is going circumambulation, a very high nun, and she has a lot of attainment, she has bodhicitta, and she's going for circumambulation. Maybe you walk up to her, and you ask her for a blessing, and she gives you a hand blessing. She does this, we call it Tibet chapwan. Because of the power of her prayer and meditation, and your pure intention, this one connect, you receive a blessing. This blessing opens the seeds from your previous life of making offerings to the Buddha. From that opening up, you start saying, oh, maybe I did that to my friends, I regret it. When you open up the merits you collected from associating with the Buddha, making offerings with the Buddha, studying the Buddha's teachings, meditating on the Buddha, you would sponsor the Buddha Dharma in your previous lives. When the nun blesses you, that seed that was planted, that bakcha, opens. When that seed opens, you think, oh, you have a change of thought. Maybe some of the negative things you did, you regret. And then you change. Maybe because of that, you yourself go and become a monk. Maybe because of that, you had some anger and you let go. Maybe because of that merit opens up, you feel very happy and inspired. You go read more Dharma books. That helps you to study Dharma more and more. Eventually you go and meditate and become enlightened. Maybe that nun blessing you says, oh, you open up and then you read something about killing animals and the harm, and then you become vegetarian. So what is a blessing? A blessing is when something holy comes in contact with you and it opens up a previous imprint that's meritorious and changes your thoughts. That's a blessing. When it changes your thoughts, it is a blessing. That is why in very Buddhist countries, they always go to meet the old monks and the old nuns and the high lamas to hope they will touch them, or they hope they can get a cloth from the high lama, or they can get some blessing food, or some seeds, or some grains, or some water, because when they drink it, they want to open up the imprint that they will overcome their obstacle to do dharma. That is a blessing. So that can happen when you meet a holy nun, a holy monk. That can happen when you see a very old Buddha statue that's very blessed, like a statue that was kept by Lama Tsongkhapa. Wow. Sometimes a statue kept by Lama Tsongkhapa, it's in the monastery, right? They say this one used to be Tsongkhapa's personal statue. Used to be Pabongka Rinpoche's personal statue. Used to be kept to Trijang Rinpoche's personal statue. Used to be kept to Soren Rinpoche's personal statue. And Soren Rinpoche, Trijang Rinpoche, Pabongka Rinpoche, Lama Tsongkhapa kept these statues their whole life, meditated on bodhicitta, made offerings, generated love, generated compassion, did millions of mantras, and blessed these statues. So these statues are very empowered. And then they take that statue and put it on Cindy, and she becomes Dada. Okay, you become Cindy. That's how you open it. So you take one of these statues and you place it on their head, and some of your previous karma that you collected that's good opens. And then pushes you to a next level of study, practice, or commitment. And then because of that, you change. That is a blessing. If you go to the monastery, if you go to Ganden Monastery for food, to get guyu money. If you come to Kechara for food, for entertainment, for a job, there's no blessing. There's no blessing. Why? A blessing is not where you are, it's your motivation. If I go to Ganden Monastery so I can sit on a big throne, people take pictures of me, they say, oh, he's a big lama. That's not dharma. So when I go Ganden, I won't get a blessing. I collect more negative karma because I use the sangha for something bad. If I go to Ganden to make offerings to the monks, especially the old monks, and to collect merit food, clothes, robes, statues, may I gain bodhicitta, may I be a pure monk like you, may I hold my vows, may Tsem Tulku. If I can hold my vows very well, just like you, then I collect great amount of merit. And then the previous life imprints I have open up to bless me to be a good monk. Same thing but if I go to Shaganin to eat, to get food, oh, I'm poor, I just go there because I have nowhere. Then when I'm older, I just go bye-bye. Nothing. That's what Saranji used to say last time. Why? Example, the dogs go to Ganden, nothing happened. Many dogs go to Ganden. In Ganden, there are hundreds of dogs running around. Birds, poro. They don't become enlightened. So what's the difference? Poro kansa is. Poro is black crow, is kansa, is a sentient being. A dog is a sentient being, a human is a sentient being. So if you go to Gandhin for food, then you just get food like animal. Same thing. That's why when you take things from Dharma institutions, it's very negative karma. Why is it very negative karma? Because it's donated by people who have faith, who are sick, who are old, who have died, who have suffered, who have faith, who have tremendous amount of generosity, and they donate, so you use this for something positive. So in the temple, if you use the money and donations, facilities for something positive, and you keep the facilities clean and neat and maintained, then the sponsor will be happy, the sponsor will collect merit, you will also collect merit, and you also will not collect demerit. Because why? If the sponsor offers you things, you don't keep it well, you damage it, you throw it out, never mind, I can get a new sponsor, never mind, I can get a new sponsor. You're not Dharma. That's wrong motivation. Everything must be kept clean and neat because people donate to you from faith. Faith. So therefore, a blessing can come from a monastery. A blessing can come from monks and nuns. A blessing can come from a bodhisattva, from a statue, from a stupa. It can come from a relic. It can come from a mala. It can come from thinking about the Buddha and meditating. It can come from doing certain prayers. It can come from doing certain mantras. Many ways to open up bacha, the imprint. So when you meet something holy and it opens up something in you that changes you or helps you to change to become better for yourself and others, that is a blessing. Any questions?